Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a long time. So, in this video, we'll look at how to develop portfolio websites. So, these days, website is must for everyone who wants to do a business, right? So, even if you're a small freelancer developer or a big company, you require a website. So, you can use templates like WordPress or Wix or other website building templates or tools, uh, but I think it's better to build our websites using pure HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? Because you have flexibility on making the website and it's very cost effective. So website builders, you'll have to pay something, and of course you'll have to rely on someone's theme, and you have to purchase themes from other third-party websites. Why to do that? If you know the coding, if you know how to build a website using HTML and CSS, you can build any kind of website, right? So if you do not know what is HTML, CSS and JavaScript, that's fine. Okay, we'll look at how to develop the website from scratch, and it's a completely beginner friendly. So I'll try to take you through as slow as possible. Excuse me, as slow as possible. So you can start working on your websites once the video is over. Also, you can make few suggestions if you want me to build any websites, or have any template in mind and that you want to purchase, but you wanted to build it by yourself and you need my help, you can reach out to me. That's fine. Okay, so this is the first website. So here you can add your name. Simply written as portfolio website, and the designation is creative director. The line of business is gaming, programmer or developer. Okay, so if I scroll down, it shows me the project list, and when I hover on the projects, it highlights the projects. So if I click on any of the projects, so it will take me to the website, okay, the game page. Okay, so as of now I have added all the links same, but you can replace them very easily. Okay, so here this portfolio list is games, so we can add one more list. Instead of games, maybe you wanted to add YouTube or interview, some anything, you can do it. Okay, so it's more flexible to edit and make changes. So initially you might feel it's difficult to do it because you might be a beginner and you never heard of HTML or CSS, but once you start working on it, it's it's very easy. You don't need even use any templates, right? Also I have added one more field, work and inquiries. So you can see Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If I click on Twitter, it will open my Twitter page. Similarly, Facebook, YouTube will open the YouTube and Facebook pages, and at the last you can see copyrights and all rights reserved. Okay, it's a very simple website, and you can add your photo here. This photo I have added is very huge size, so we can reduce the size as well, so it better loads. Okay, let's start how to build this website. First I will open my Visual Code. Okay, so first I will create a folder. So many people create folders from the command line, but I don't want to do that way because we have user interface. When we have user interface, let's use it. Why to use command line? It's very confusing even for it's very confusing for beginners. So I'll call it as portfolio website. Okay, I'll select the folder. Okay, so this is a empty folder. So what we'll do is we'll use NextJS and TailwindCSS technologies to build the page. It's just one static page, but in future we'll be developing multi pages, and also we'll try to connect database, user sign in, etc. But not in this video, maybe in the next video or in the future videos we'll be doing that. But let's stick to this technology. Slowly we'll learn one step ahead, one by one. Okay, so now I have opened Visual Studio. This is where we'll build our website. So first you will need to install NodeJS. Okay, if I click on NodeJS, you will get the download instructions. Go to Windows or Mac. Okay, I'm using Windows, so I'll download the Windows installer. Okay, once it is done, let it download. Okay, in the meanwhile let me open TailwindCSS. So CSS is used for the website styling, and NextJS will be used to build pages, routing, links, everything. So you can see tailwindcss.com. This is the first page, and if I click on get started, you can see tailwindcss/docs. So this is another page, right? So websites, it's easy to understand. You might be using a lot of websites so far, right? So NextJS will help us to build all the pages in a very simpler manner. Okay, it also uses ReactJS, but in this portfolio website we are going to build very simple website, so we're not going to use any React components. Okay, React components help us to build a lot of things. We'll look at in later videos, but let's stick to the very small website so that you can learn from basics. Okay, so this one is done downloading. Let me install that one. So I have already installed Node.js. You just need to download it and go through the installation wizard. So, okay, so I'm cancelling it because I have already installed it. Okay, so once that is done, let's set up the project. First we'll have to install all the NextJS, TailwindCSS components. Okay, so we have something called npm node package manager, where it installs or updates all the packages in our project. So it's just like Windows download, Windows installer, right? Just now we have downloaded Node.js installer. It helps us to install Node.js in our computer. Similarly, npm will help you to install the NextJS and TailwindCSS packages, we call it as packages, into your project, right? So it's very easy to install. Instead of downloading them and adding them to your project, you can simply use npm to install them. Okay, let's go to installation guide. So TailwindCSS. So there are a lot of other CSS components, I mean CSS frameworks, we can call them, but I like TailwindCSS because you don't need to create separate CSS files. Everything can be done in one page. I'll show it to you what I mean. Okay, so our project is going to be based on NextJS, so I'll click on NextJS. Okay, so follow this one, npx create next app minus e with TailwindCSS and my project. My project is your project name. Okay, so if I come back to Visual Studio Code, Control J, a terminal will open. Okay, so here let me paste this one. So instead of my project, I'll call it as portfolio website 1. Okay, enter. It's going to take some while. So in the meanwhile, let's look at NextJS. Okay, so this is a React framework. So it has a lot of features like API routes. It's very easy to switch between pages. You don't need to create separate routing in your application. So generally when you create pages, you'll have to define route and link all the routes, all the pages. But NextJS, makes very easy for you to do it. You don't need to route anything. It helps you. It's an inbuilt component. You just need to use it. Okay, installing packages, this might take a couple of minutes. Fine, no issues. Okay, so once we are done with the production, we are going to deploy the app to vercel.com. So here we are going to deploy the app. You can see the previous project, portfolio 1, is deployed here. So if I click on visit, you can see the project. Okay, here it is. Okay, it's very easy to deploy on Vercel. We'll look at that as well. Okay, let's see if it is over. Okay, so once the Tailwind CSS, the project is installed, we'll have to install other configuration files as well, but let it complete. So you can see a folder is created, portfolio website 1. So it suggests us to cd portfolio website 1. So what happens if I cd? Instead of writing everything, it is better. I feel like it's better to copy paste. So if I do that, it will take me to that folder. You can see now portfolio website 1. So this is the folder, right? And these are all the files here. If I do npm run dev, okay, it will run the server, and you can see the website on your local system. Okay, so let it load. So if I go to localhost 3000, it should open. So the server runs on localhost 3000. So this is where it runs the server, and if I open the web page, localhost 3000, it will give you a basic website. Okay, welcome to NextJS. Get started by editing pages index.js. So pages index.js, this is the default page, and you can see all the program for this page. Okay, we are going to edit that page and make our portfolio website. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now we are done with installing Tailwind CSS and setting up the project. So we need to set up few configuration files. Okay, so we'll have to add this one and delete this one. It will be in the tailwind.config.js file. Okay, so by default it is already added, so good. So underscore app.js, this is where the Tailwind CSS styling will be applied to the whole project. So I want to add my own custom font and also default background. Okay, so for that we'll have to remove this one and add a global CSS file. So if I go to the instructions, it says that if you aren't planning to write any custom CSS in your project, the fastest way to include Tailwind is to import it directly in pages underscore app.js. Okay, so we want a custom CSS. So what I will do is I'll create a folder called styles. Okay, so it says styles, and in styles I will create a file called global.css. okay, I have created this one. Now we'll have to include these three in global.css. Once we done that, add this to the underscore app.js. okay, let's repaste this one. Done. Okay, second. Okay, the folder name, the file name is wrong. Oh. Okay, great. Okay, so this is the website. So once you edit anything and you refresh it, this page will be automatically updated. Okay, we will look at that as well. So as of now, global.css, we have created it. So if you look at the website, the font is completely different compared to this font. Okay, let's add the font. Okay, I'll go to Google Fonts. The font that I have created is, one second, right, this one. Okay, so I'll click on style this, use this style, and I will click on import. Okay, just copy this part, we don't need to copy the style. Add it here. Okay, now the family font name is Bangers. I'll go to Tailwind CSS. So as of now I remember how to do it, but for beginners, if you are new to Tailwind CSS, it is better to refer the docs all the time, because we might forget and we might not remember. It's very easy to forget because we have a lot of components to remember. So it is better to always go to Tailwind CSS and look out for that. So if I go to font, family, okay, so this is how you have to do it. So you'll have to add font family in this manner. Okay, so it will give you the custom font. I'll go to tailwind.config.js. so it's under extend. Okay, family font I have pasted here. Okay, now the family font name is Bangers. Okay, let's see. That didn't work. Okay, I think I get it. I'll call it as custom. I always get confused with this one. 1 second. Okay, right. So this is how we have to do it. I always keep on forgetting this one. Okay, so extend family font. What did I miss? Everything is the same. Anyways. Okay, my mistake. Alright. So now I created a custom font. Okay, family font. I used the Tailwind CSS documents. So here we will have to create family font in the similar manner, and I named it as custom and added the font name here. Okay, so now I'll have to apply it to the page. So if I go to index.js, I have to add this font here. If I type font, I'll find font custom, which is the added one. Let me close this one. You see that? Cool. Okay, so let's delete everything. Let's create everything from scratch. We'll just keep the head. Okay, so first we'll need a header. Okay, so we'll need the main body. And we'll need footer. So okay, so here in name, in header, we are going to give the name, image, and what you call it as designation, okay, of the person. So in main, we'll list out the project list. Okay, also in footer, we will add the business enquiries. Okay, you see that once I refresh it, everything is gone and I can only see these three. Okay, so in head, let's name it as portfolio website. Okay, as of now it says create JS, create next app. If I refresh it, it will change it to portfolio website. Okay, all right. So HTML, CSS, we have few components, right? So in HTML you have to add everything in this manner. So this is called markup language, and here it defines the header, main defines the body, and footer defines the footer of the web page. Okay, so in web pages you might see the contact, all these things. If you look at this one, all these are footer. Alright, so if you ask me, is this necessary to add header, main and footer? You can add everything under div. Okay, just like this one, but it will be easy for us to remember or recognize, or you can say identify what's footer, what's header, and what's the body, so that in future if you build so many lines of code, it will be easy for you to differentiate the code. Okay, let's start building with header. So in Tailwind, not only in Tailwind, any CSS, we have something called flex, and you can make it like flex row, column, etc. Okay, so column gives you a split of everything in column, so it will take 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So if I go to flex here, okay, so everything will be divided into different boxes, you can say, or fields, you can say. See, there are different kinds of flex, right? So you can have it in column wise, or you can have it in row wise, right? And you can have its own size of component or content, right? Height and width, you can have it at okay, so everything, every content can have its own height and width. So here this website is defined as, let me close this one, I'm getting confused, even this one. Okay, now we are done with the Google font. Let me close this one as well. Okay, now you can see, if I click on F12, it will open me the elements. Okay, so if I click on this one, the whole page is getting highlighted, and if I drop down, you can see, right? You can see here these three what we can say, these three are actually distributed in column wise, top to bottom. You see that, though in the whole page it is distributed from top to bottom, and you can see the whole website is being highlighted and where this content stands, right? Okay, so this is header, and this is main, and this is footer. You can see that, right? Everything is divided and has its own field. Okay, so again you can see here, items center will bring the items to alignment to center. Justify center will bring everything to the center of the page. Okay, alignment is something which will be at the same position. If I remove item center, it will take you to the left hand side of the screen. Let me add it back. If I add that, it will bring it to the center of the screen. And if I remove justify center, it goes to the top of the screen. Okay, let me add it back. So we have different justify options. If I click on justify content, you'll see justify start and center, between, around, evenly. Okay, so this is justify start, everything will be at the start, center will be at the center, and end will be at the end. Space between will give you the equal distribution, equal distribution based on the page size, height of the page, or if it is a row, width of the page. Okay, instead of center, let me add justify between. Okay, now header is at the top, body is at the center, and business inquiry is at the bottom. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. But once we add the content, we don't want this to be at the center, we want it to be aligned with the header. Okay, so we can always make the changes later, so I'll keep it as it is as of now, or let's remove the justify center and make it as start. Okay, so let's build each and everything slowly. Okay, now first we have to build the header component. So we have something called portfolio website, image, and creative director, and this thing. Okay, so first one, let's replace with this one with portfolio website. Okay, and we want the size to be let's increase the font size, keep it as max as possible. You can see these are the classes, CSS classes, and if you add text, so first I need to add CSS class name equal to, and you have to put it in quotes. You can see text hyphen 9x will bring me the website of this much, the page or the font size of this much, so it is looking good. Okay, also I want to add a custom color, this background color. So if I click on color picker, okay, so this is the code. I'll go back to tailwind.config.js. Okay, here I will add color. I will call it as silver. Okay, I added the code here. So let's go back to index.js and let me change the background. So if I click on bg hyphen, you will get the one second, let me check the document again. Customizing color. So by default you have these color pattern, you can choose any of them, but if you want to add your own color, okay, it should be colors. Okay, colors, and you can define the name, add the color code. Now let's see if we can get the drop down. bg hyphen silver, right, you see that it is working. Okay, so I'm getting the drop downs because I have installed Tailwind plugin, but you will not get it because you haven't installed it. But if you install it, that's fine. If you go to the extensions, search for Tailwind CSS. Okay, search for Tailwind CSS here, and you will get an option to install. Click on install, and once that is done, it will be applied to your project. So that is how I'm getting the drop downs. Okay, let's go back to index.js. Okay, what's the next one? We'll have to add an image. So I'll go to the folder, portfolio website 1. So in public I'll have to add an image, and we'll get that image to here. Okay, so you can also do it through command line, but we have a user interface. Why not using it? Okay, let's simply copy paste the image from this one. Okay, the image is of 5 MB, but you can add a small image. I downloaded this image from Google, so I haven't compressed it, but you use it a small image. Okay, so here in header again we'll have to include that image. So in NextJS we have a component called image. Let's use that component. Before that we'll have to import that component. Okay, so these components will help you not to write the code again. So you just need to pick those components from NextJS directory. Okay, so it will save a lot of time, and it's very easy to use as well. Okay, import image from next image. So we'll add the image. It should be str equal to pic. So we have to define pic first. Import pic from, if you start the quotes, it will give you a drop down. So if you add double dots and slash, it will give you the directory of your project. So go to public and add slash and see what's the name of the pic. It's photo dot jpg. Okay, now you can easily call pic to the image. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, you can see the image is loaded now. Let's limit the width to 500 and height to again 500. Okay, I still feel it's too big. Let's make it 400. Okay, done. And now we want to make it round. If I search for round, I'll see rounded corners, and you can see circle here. So you have to add this one. So create one class name. So this is where the Tailwind CSS will be applied, in class name. Okay, now you see it's round, but the image is at the left hand side below portfolio website, but we want it to be at the center. So what we have to do is we have to make header width of the header to be the width of the screen. If I click on F12, okay, If I click on header, you see this, the header size is of, it's only 3/4 of the screen, but we need it to be full screen. Or we can simply, what we can do is, we can, let's see if, or let's do one thing, let's add a class name here and make it flex of column and items center. Okay, now you get this one at the center, right? Okay, so the next one, if you look at the portfolio website or the text color, it's not pure black, it's gray. Okay, but here we made it as black. Let's make it gray as well. So if I click on font, I think text gray of 800. Okay, now you can see it's gray, it's matching with this one. Okay, now let's add these two, creative director and gaming programmer. So at the bottom of the image, let's add creative, and the next one is director. Okay, so creative director, but it is at the bottom of the image. So what we have to make, you will just need to move this one to top of the image, save it, and you can see at the top. Now we have to make it at left and right, we'll do that. Similarly, this one should be, what's the name of this one, gaming programmer. Okay, this one is gaming. Okay, you can see creative director, gaming programmer, dev. Now what we have to do, we have to make creative director, image and gaming programmer to be on left to right. Okay, so what we can do, add one div. So it's like a container, it will contain all of these into one all of this together. Okay, now let's add CSS styling. I'll call it as flex row. Okay, now you see that these are at the right and left of the image. Now we have to put it at the center, so item center. Okay, now you see that now they are at the center of the image, and you can see creative director and these becoming side to side. We don't want that to happen, so let's put another div, make it like a container and add these two here, and let's add one more CSS class, flex column. Okay, now you see creative director is top to bottom. Similarly, let's do the same with this one. Let's create one more container. Okay, now you'll see both of them are side to each other, right? So we want to add some space between them. So for that, if you go to TailwindCSS, you'll have an option called gap. Okay, so you can add gap. So you can do it in two manners. One is space and gap. Generally I use gap, but we can also use space. So if I click on space, you will see there are different components here. So space X will add space between these objects on x-axis. So if I add space XY, okay, space X6. Now let's make it 10. So the problem with space is every time the first one will be ignored. I don't know why, but so that is why I always prefer using gap. So instead of space, let's use gap. You see that? Now it's good. Okay. Also, let's increase the size of the font. So creative, director, everything. Okay. Also project list, business inquiries. So let's make a default font. So instead of adding font all the time, let's go to global CSS. What we can do is add a layer base and call body, apply. So let's call the text default size of the font to text hyphen Excel. Okay, let's see. It's very difficult to remember everything, so let's check the documents. Right, apply function should have right. Okay, so we don't need the red symbol here. So it should be layer base body, and in body it should be apply text Excel. Now we can see the size of the font increased across the project. So if I make it 2XL, okay, it has become bigger. Let's see what happens if I add 3XL. You see that? So let's stick to Excel only. So this is fine, right? Okay. Okay, now what we have to do, we want to put this image under portfolio website. Okay, let's make it darker, the text darker. Okay, fine. So for this one we'll have to add a component called relative. We have to make it relative, and we have to add the component absolute. Okay, you see that there is a overlap now. So all the objects will be overlapping with the portfolio website. So now we have to realign them, but before that what I want to do is, so you can see the portfolio website is below the image. I want it to be above image, so there is something called z index. If I make it to Z minus 50, it will be at the top. See that? Now, so here you can see it's not completed at the top, right? And it is, the image is also at the bottom of the, almost at the bottom of the portfolio website text, but here you can see it's completely overlapping. We don't want that to happen. So what we will do, we will add a space at the top of the screen. Okay, so MT is called margin, and MT, M is margin and T is top. So if I go to TailwindCSS, if I click on margin, you can see different elements. Okay, so this will add an extra space on the top of the website. So I'm adding it to the header. So if I add it to header, it will apply to the whole project. So the next objects will also be at the bottom, more to the bottom of the screen. Okay, so 40 looks bigger. Let's make it to 20. Okay, so you can see there are a lot of elements here, M40, M30, minus M, MX. So MX is on the x-axis, left to right it will give you at the margin, and MY will add top and bottom. But if you want to add only at the top, it's MT, and if you wanted to add it at left, ML, right, MR, bottom, MB. Okay, that is how it is. Alright, sorry. Alright, now let's pull the image little lower. Okay, MT 24. So let's add 10. Let's make it 20. Okay, 1 second. Let's look at other elements. Okay, 16. The next one is 16. Okay, cool. It almost looks the same, right? Okay. Okay, so the first page is done. Now we have to add the bottom and footer. So I don't see the bottom and footer because I have added relative, the header as relative, because of that the body and footer went back to the image. So if I click on header, you can see the header here, and main is here. Okay, so can you see that? Main and footer is at the next level of main. You see that? So let's pull it down. We'll add a margin to main. So MT 80. Let's add MT 80. Okay, now you can see project list and business inquiries. Let's move it further. Let's see what is the highest one. It's 96. Okay, so I don't want the project list to be visible at the first page. I want only this part, the portfolio website, creative name, and everything at the first page, and the next page I want to scroll down to see the project list. I don't want this to be displaying here. What I will do is, there is something called padding. I'll also add padding. Okay, so this will add further more space. It's similar to margin. So if I add padding to 20, for, let's say, you see that it went at the to the bottom. Okay, so if I do F12, I can see the elements, and you see here the orange line is the margin, and even for the image you can see the orange line. It's the same thing. If I go to main, again in main you can see orange line, right? And the green line below the orange line is the padding. Okay, so if you keep on working, you'll know everything in detail. So as of now, let's stick to limited knowledge. Okay, so project list we have added. Now let's add the details. So one is games. Okay, if I go to the portfolio website, so this is how it looks like. Project list, Angry Birds and everything. So we have 7 projects. What I will do, I'll add games. Okay, let me copy paste this one. It saves a lot of time. Okay, the first one is Angry Pigs, sorry. The second one is Subway Slider. Oh, it's not selecting one, it's selecting both of them. Anyways, let me select everything. Okay, Angry Pigs we have already added. The second one is Subway Slider. Let's close this one. So the next one is Candy Fresh. Let me copy paste this thing. Okay, Age of Kingdoms, Medal of Pride. So total 7 projects. Right, now let's see how it looks like. Okay, now you get the complete list. Right, so what we have to do is we have to divide the project list and games through the project list. Okay, project list is like a header, and games and the rest of the project names will be a separate field. Okay, so for that let's add div. Div is like a container. Okay, and let's add one more div. Okay, so if I go back to the website, it still looks the same, but let's add the CSS components. Let's make it flex column, and let's add gap of 10. Okay, you see that a gap is added, And again for this div, let's call the class name, make it flex row. Okay, now the games is beside angry pigs and all the project list. Let's make it justify between, so that wait, not like that. Let's add a gap of 20. Okay, so let's not forget to add item center, otherwise it's keep moving to the left. Okay, now the items is at center. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's add the business inquiry, add margin to the business inquiry, so that we don't need to see that when we are working with the project list. Okay, I'll increase the font size to 4x. Okay, let's make it 6x. Okay, and let's add furthermore gap. Let's see what more elements we have in gap. So it's now we added 20, let's add 40. Let's make it much bigger, text 8, no 7. Okay, so this is the first page, and if I go to project list, I can see the project list in one page. Okay, so these are games, and 1 second, let's add gap furthermore. 48, I'm using 48. Okay. Okay, you just need to keep on validating and check how it looks like. Okay, so this looks much better. This is the project list, and we have 7 projects here, and if I hover them, nothing happens, right? So what I want to do is I want to add a hyperlink. So for that, A is the hyperlink component, so I just need to add A. Okay, and I'll add the hyperlink href. Okay, the hyperlink would be this one, and I want to target window underscore blank. Underscore blank will open the link on the new tab. So I have added the link for angry pigs. If I go to angry pigs, you can see the pointer symbol. If I click on angry pigs, you can see it is opening in the new tab. Okay, let's do the same for the rest of the projects. Okay, so because this is ReactJS, you can also use the components. Okay, so components will help you to reduce the coding. So here there are only 7 projects, so I am able to do it manually, but later on if you have 50 projects, 100 projects, it's very difficult to maintain everything and on one page, and doing manual edits is very difficult, right? So in the later videos we can use the React components, but as this is a very basic website, let's stick to simple programming. Okay, sniper shot. This one is Age of Kingdoms. Okay, a lot of people do write everything, every line, even though we have the ability to copy paste, but few people like to write everything. But I don't want to do that. I want to copy paste because we already have code over there and it's easy to complete the project much faster. Okay, so now I have added all the hyperlinks. If I click on any of them, it opens the web page, right? Okay, so when I hover on them, I want them to be highlighted. How do I do that? So I have to add one more class name, something called hover. When I hover on the text color should be gray 600. Okay, so if I hover on angry pitch, you can see the gray is 600 instead of, let's see, 700. Okay, this is much better, right? Let's copy and paste it to the other project list as well. So you see that the complete program, the code is the same, whereas the project names are changing. So if you use the React components, we don't need to write 7 times. You can simply add one code and pass the values to React component. It's much more easier. We'll do that later. We can see that in the later videos. So let's build the footer now. So we need one is work inquiries. So instead of one page, one statement, I wanted to give it in 2 lines. So if I go down, you can see work inquiries, and at the bottom let's add simply copy paste these 3 here. Anyways, we need the hyperlinks for these social networks, so we already have the code there. So let's simply replace them. Facebook, one second. Now Twitter and YouTube, right? You can see everything here, and you can also see the hover effect. And if I click on Facebook, it's opening the page, but it's not opening the Facebook page. Let me go to my Facebook page. One second. So this is my Facebook page. Okay, and this is my Twitter, and this is my YouTube page. Okay, now let's put this in a container, in a separate container, so that we can add gap. Okay, also I'll create one more container to add the Shepherd Games copyright thing, and also all rights reserved. All rights reserved. Okay, let's go back to the website. You can see all of them here. So let's add some gap. Before that, let's make it a flex column and gap of 20. Okay, you can see that, but for work inquiries we don't need a gap, so for that we'll need to add this into a container. Okay, so the first one is portfolio website name, list of projects, and the bottom one is the work inquiries. So instead of having this one at the complete bottom, let's add some margin bottom. Margin bottom is MB, let's add 10. Okay, this looks much better. Maybe we can reduce. Okay, fine, let's leave it. Okay, looking good, right? So we have the name, introduction, and project list, and you can hover them, and if you click on any of them it will open the website. Now for inquiries you can reach out to me through social network websites. So if I click on all this, any of these three, it will open the links on a separate tab. So here if you look at Shepherd Games, there is no copyright. Let's add the copyright symbol. So this is the symbol code. Okay, done. Okay, so the website is ready, and now let's host it on Vercel. So before that we'll have to go to GitHub. If you don't have a GitHub, open the account and let's go to repositories. Create a new repository, portfolio website, and let's make it private for now. Create the repository. Okay, so I have already added all these things to the command line, so I will simply push the files to GitHub. So add the once I add the message, you will have to click on push. So it has to push the files to GitHub. So it is loading. Let's give it a time. Also so the second part, the footer part, is again I'm recording. The first time, I'm not sure what happened, it has recorded only some part of it. Anyways, so you can see now the files are uploaded. Now let's go to Vercel. So let's create a new project. So I'll import a new repository. Okay, let's add the portfolio website. Create team, let's keep it for now, and deploy. Okay, so in the meanwhile, let's look at what we have done. So first we have used the NextJS, which is a React framework to build the website. We haven't used much of NextJS components or facilities. in this website, but later on when we build the complex websites, we are going to use a lot of React components and Next components as well, but for now it's very straightforward, and the only component we used here is image. Okay, so we'll look at how to create multiple pages and how to make the website dynamic in the later videos, but for now let's keep it very simple because it's a beginner friendly course, right? And also we have used the TailwindCSS, which is a styling framework, and based on that we have created the website. Alright, so Vercel has built the website for us. Let's go to the dashboard, click on visit. So you can see it has created a custom link, portfolio website 1 Vercel app, Vercel.app. You can see portfolio website and everything here, right? The complete website is built. Okay, so if you make any changes in the code, you just need to go to source control and add a message and click on commit, and after that you need to push it. Okay, so once that is done, Vercel will get the updated files from GitHub and create the website. Okay, so it's completely automated, we don't need to worry about anything. Okay, let me stop the server. Okay, alright, I hope you understood how to build this website. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and also I have provided the source code in the description, in the comment as well, so you can get the source code from there. And that's all about this website. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.